Hello, welcome to Clash of the Rams, the sports talk show. I'm your host, Jeremy Hayes. Along with me, we have Davison Perez, Ryan Chevalier, all right, Eric Rudsley. All right, guys, we're going to start our show today with the Celtics getting swept this Sunday by the Cavs. So, Davison, I feel like you want to say something to me, so go on ahead.
Okay, well, I hate to say I told you so, Jeremy, but I told you so. It's really sad that you couldn't listen to me that show we were making our predictions, but I knew it was coming. The Celtics did not have a big enough presence to go up against Timothy Mozgov and the offensive and defensive rebounding powerhouse that is the Cleveland Cavaliers. It showed in the first two games with the Celtics getting out-rebounded. And I think that plus a combination of the Celtics not being able to make any shots and create their own opportunities on offense is what eventually led to them getting swept.
Yeah, and they really tried everything they could. They tried to get physical with the Cavs. They tried to basically design plays that would work against the Cavs, but basically nothing seemed to work because you're overmatched, and that's basically the word I'd use for this series. You have a team full of superstars, and then the Celtics, and the Cavs averaged 104 points in these 4 games they played. So that basically shows how their offense is basically better than the Celtics, and that's how they kind of dominated them.
Yeah, Chevy said it. I mean, the bottom line is Cleveland is just a better team. They're way better. The Celtics gave it their all. They fought hard. You have to give them credit. They were in all 4 games at one point or another, but they couldn't sustain any of the momentum that they would get. They would go on those runs and cut it to single digits and get to 3 or 4 points. Yesterday they got it to 8 points or whatever it was, but they just couldn't get over that hump. Brad Stevens said it earlier in the series, they lacked poise because they would get into these runs where they were pushing and they were getting there, but they would get too excited. They were too into it. They turned the ball over. They rushed. They forced shots. They forced a lot of shots in the series, I feel like, and that led to the bad shooting. But they just don't have the poise yet to compete in a series like that where you're on a run, sustain it, and they couldn't sustain any of the momentum that they built at points during the 4 games.
And it's honestly just closing out games, too, with the Celtics. One of the big reasons why I predicted, it could go 6 or 7, because I thought they could kind of get that maybe at home or on the road. They were a great road team during the regular season, but I mean, it just shows you against really good teams like the Cavs, they couldn't close out games. I mean, I'm not one for predictions. I mean, I won't make a huge deal about, like, oh my God, I was wrong. But I am surprised, honestly, I am, that they actually lost. But from where they are now, going into the off season, going into next season, what do you think the Celtics need to do, guys, to, like, get over that hump and make it a series next time?
Now they have experience, and it's something else that I touched on. I think that because they were able to make it to the playoffs, they have that experience now. Brad Stevens has that experience of being in the playoffs, facing a high-caliber team like the Cavs. Now that they have that experience, they can build, and I think the reason why they weren't able to sustain these leads is because they're a young team. They're a young team that's never been here before, and they just simply had trouble with the playoff magnitude, and you could tell that it got into their heads. So now that they have the experience, they can continue to build. Somehow, some way, they're going to have to get a big man to be able to compete in the East, period, and make it interesting. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do, who they pick up. But definitely, I've been preaching this for like 3 years now. They need a big man. Kelly Olynyk is not going to cut it.
And I'm not sure if this would be your typical big man, but in this offseason, we'll maybe take a look at Kevin Love. Kawhi Leonard would be a good addition to the team because then we'd have someone who could cover a superstar like LeBron. Overall, I looked at some statistics, and the Atlanta Hawks, when they were playing the Nets, they're up. It's a 2-1 series. So I feel like the Celtics kind of got snubbed having to face the Cavs. So I feel like they could definitely compete with a team like the Hawks a little bit better. So we can match up with any team in the league, but these superstar teams, we still need a bit more to put us over the top.
I think the series proved that you can have great coaching, you can have great heart, you can have the desire to win like the Celtics had, that energy, that youthful enthusiasm. But in the NBA, it's about having the big-time stars to carry you. And we saw with the Cavs, when push came to shove and things got rough, LeBron stepped up, Kyrie Irving stepped up, Kevin Love stepped up. You need guys like that in the NBA to carry you. The Celtics don't have them. Danny Ainge has a lot of work still to do to go out and convince somebody to sign here, whoever that may be. If it's Kevin Love, if he decides to opt out, great, but they have a lot of work to do to get stars in here and get the Celtics back to where they can compete for championships and not just playoff spots.
They showed that they're a competitive team, but yeah, now it's about Ainge trying to go out and get those extra guys to make the team complete. All right, that's all that we have for this segment. Coming up next, we have our next segment, so stick around.